Are you talking shift? We are. It's time for the We're Talking Shift podcast. Now. Here to talk shift, Loree Bischoff. We're Talking Shift.
Hey, everyone. It's Loree Bischoff here. Welcome to the We're Talking Shift podcast, the place where we talk shift because I think that the antidote to feeling stuck begins by shifting our thinking. And sometimes when we're really stuck, we just have to go out and shake things up by going rogue and making a really radical shift in our lives. Today on my Going Rogue guest segment, I'm going to be talking with special guest Victor Scamardo, who is also known as 1FitVic. Now, Victor is the founder of 1FitVic.com, where he guides and motivates women to the fitness that they desire and, more importantly, to the fitness that they deserve. He was led to form this company after having some pretty big life-changing experiences in his own life. And those experiences really helped him discover his own passion and purpose. So here we are. Welcome, Victor. Are you ready to talk some shift?
I am ready to talk some shift, Loree. I am so happy to be here. I've watched many of your broadcasts throughout the summer and into the winter, and I'm very pleased to be here with you.
Awesome. Well, I'm thrilled to have you. You know, health and fitness has been seriously one of my passions for my entire adult life. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's also one of the areas that I work with a lot of my coaching clients in. So I really, really love what you're doing. And this is a topic that I could just gush about for hours. So I'm very excited to have you here and to talk about what you have going on, because I'm a big fan of it. When it's somebody helping others in any way in their life, I'm a big fan. So welcome.
Well, thank you. I am so excited about what I'm doing now, and it's been a journey, and we'll get into that, of course.
Sure.
But it is so much satisfaction whenever you follow your passion and you're able to help people, and I absolutely love what I do now.
That is amazing. And I think, that's a really important thing just to kick this off with, is how fulfilling it is to be following your passion. And there's always that extra level of, extra level of fulfillment when you are being of service to other people.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. And I do find it interesting about the process and the path that got me to where I am today. And it hasn't always been that way. You know, I haven't always been the man that I am today. It's been
that's like isn't that like every man or every woman's, every person's story, hopefully, is I'm not the person today that I was, in my past, because that's the whole point of, I think, the journey, right? It's about evolving and growing. So I would hope that most people can say, I'm not the same person I am now than I was, last month or 10 years ago or whatever. So I think that's really awesome. Let's start with this. What led you to creating this program for women?
Well, it goes back a few years, and I had a moment. I left corporate America after about 25 years and of the corporate grind, and we all know corporate people, or most of us do, and it is very demanding. It pays very well. And it left me unfulfilled. So I had the opportunity to get out a few years ago, and I did. And that, unfortunately, I took a step that I always thought that was right for me. And I took a step from corporate America doing corporate logistics, which I was good at, but it just was not necessarily my passion, but I had a history with it. So I stuck with it. And I left corporate America and decided, well, I'm going to do something on my own. And it was something that I always did on the side. And I decided that I wanted to become a full-time trader, with stocks and options, so on and so forth. And that was the first step. And that's getting out on my own, spreading my wings. And it was something I was very passionate about, and that was trading. However, once I got into that, and I basically had to work for greed every day. Ooh. And so I realized that I have to be very greedy, and I don't mean it in a bad sense greedy. I mean, I have to be aggressive about wanting to get to earn this money. And it was not fulfilling me. It was kind of eating at me in a bad way, because it was taking me to an area that my body was fighting. In other words, or maybe it was my soul was fighting. My mind was saying, hey, you need to go here and you need to make this money and you need to work very hard and just grind. Well, I got into the grind. I was trading all day, and then I was trading at night. And basically I figured out I was doing it all the time. And sure, I was making some money, but it was not the fulfillment that I was expecting. Mm-hmm. And go ahead.
So what do you think? Okay, there's something that you said I want to circle back around to before I lose it, which was you said it was kind of eating at your, at your mind or your soul, and or coming out, and it was coming out, showing up physically for you, that conflict.
Well, it was not necessarily showing up physically. I think I would say it was hurting me in general. Mm-hmm. It was not fulfilling me, because I would sit in front of my monitor array for hours on end and basically stare at numbers and not interact with people. This is where I learned that I'm a people person. I kind of already knew that. I always had the gift for the gab. And as people have said, oh, you're a great speaker and you can talk to people. And here I sequestered myself and worked for greed and didn't interact with anybody verbally. I sat and had my business channel on all day and looking at my numbers, and I had a chat room that I was part of. But the thing is, I had no interaction with people. And that's one thing I noticed severely impacted me. And another thing is working towards an unfulfilling goal, because basically I was just filling my pockets and making brokers money, because there's a brokerage fee every time you make a trade. And I found that to be not my calling. I had traded for 15 years on the side and loved it. However, once I actually tried to make something I love into well, I think I loved it because I was able to make some money off of it.
Sure.
And I thought, oh, well, that's something I could do. But the thing is, I was doing it for money, Loree. I was doing it for money instead of doing it because I was passionate about it.
Chasing the money.
Yes. And let me circle back even further. I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps. And when I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to college, and I had the opportunity, I remember the day, I had the opportunity to go into a field that would have been fulfilling for me. However, I go all the way back those almost 30 years, and I chose a field that was going to pay me better. Mm-hmm. And so I started chasing the money right all the way back then. I started chasing the money. And now, of course, I'm 50 years old now, and I learned a couple years ago that I need to chase my passion, and being fulfilled in that manner is far more valuable than any amount of money you're going to make, in my book, in my opinion.
So, what do you think? What do you think was your going rogue moment that switched you from chasing money over to chasing your passion?
I am a firm believer. My going rogue event was pretty substantial. I'm a firm believer in synchronicity. Okay, I believe that things happen for a reason, and everything that is placed on our path, good or bad, is something that defines us. And I rekindled with an old friend of mine via Facebook. And after not seeing her for 30 years, and she actually helped me open up into my spirituality. She helped me take a very hard look at myself and decide, hey, what is it that you want? And So my going rogue thing is I decided to move away. I moved about 3 states away. I moved out of Oklahoma and moved to Arizona. I moved to Scottsdale to be with my girlfriend, and I sold everything. I literally sold everything out of my house, sold my vehicles, and took a small van and my cats out to Arizona. And I took that chance because and this time I was not chasing money. Granted, I did have a job in Arizona, but I was chasing my heart. I was chasing love, and with that woman that made me feel amazing. Okay. We had an amazing relationship. And in that time, we were growing, and she was helping me grow, and she helped me take a very hard look at myself. And during my time in Arizona, it was just over a year ago. It was December of 2017. I got out there, had a great relationship, but realized very, very early in the process that I did not care for my work, because I basically left my trading job, and then I took a management position in a mid-sized company, and was not fulfilled. So here I am thinking that, okay, I've literally moved. I've moved a couple states away. Yes, I have a great relationship on one side, but I'm still unfulfilled in my life because I was looking for, well, this is the primary reason, I was looking for fulfillment from my work, from my job. And this is the part, Loree, where I learned to be happy. This is where I learned about happiness starts within. Okay, happiness is a choice. And happiness is something that I am going to make for myself. It's not going to be this wonderful woman, and it's not going to be this wonderful job. It's going to be me making that effort to be happy, and that I'm in charge of my happiness. And learning that I'm in charge of my happiness was a profound moment for me, because once I learned that, then I knew, okay, well, if I can be in charge of my happiness, then I'm going to be in charge of the rest of my life. I am going to find out what really fulfills me. And then that's when I came into what I'm doing now. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So something you just said there a minute ago, basically learning that it really, rather than trying to find something to get to fill you up from out there, it turned out that you discovered that it was really allowing it to grow from within you, and then letting that lead you is what it sounds like.
That's right. That you're spot on. But I had to make this big move, this big drastic move, and get uncomfortable. And that's me. Not everyone will have to get uncomfortable to the level that I did. But I'm kind of I put all my eggs in a basket, and I go for it.
Yeah. Well, and that's what going rogue, sometimes that is the necessary thing, that radical shift that a person has to do. I think a lot of people, a lot of us have to wait until that really radical thing, happens in our life. It either happens and then it forces you to have to, do some analyzing and make a shift, or it plants this seed, and all of a sudden you get this massive inspiration like you did. All right, I'm literally shedding the old, I'm selling everything, and I'm making my radical shift is actually moving, like shedding the old and starting anew. And maybe the new that you moved to was just the first step in your process. It wasn't the end game, but it was the first step in the beginning of your next, version of yourself.
Yes, and the next phase, I kind of look at it as phases, and one of the most important things, yes, it basically forced my hand, but the thing is, it's been so full. Once I opened myself up, I should say it a little bit different. Once I took a hard look at what I really wanted out of life and what makes me tick, what makes FitVic or Victor tick, and what really fills my cup. Once I started looking at that, not only the good things. So I did realize that helping people was my ultimate goal. I love to give hope and confidence. Okay, and I'll touch on that in a little bit. But the thing is when you start looking at what what's important to you, you're going to see the things, you're going to have other things pop up that you need to deal with.
Like what?
And well, like one of the things that I came out that was amazing for me is I learned the power of unconditional love. And
that's deep.
That is very deep. But the thing is we have so many conditions that we put on experiences. We put conditions on our spouse. We put conditions on our boyfriend or girlfriend, our friends. Okay.
Sure.
It's tough to not put expectations on people or expectation on a certain experience. It's like if you have a party or you have a holiday dinner and you expect everybody to arrive and you expect everybody to be happy and you expect the meal to go a certain way. And a lot of times, I don't think there's any problem with having standards or wanting it to be a certain way. But when you expect it to be a certain way, you can sometimes set yourself up for failure.
Sure.
And disappointment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. Having expectations and being really attached to how you want things to flow, what you want the outcome to be, how you want people to show up. That's when you're going to find yourself in troubled waters, shall we say, and you will set yourself up for disappointment. And, it's just how we are conditioned until we figure out that that's really sabotaging. And I think if we can switch our outlook to having preferences, well, this is what I'd prefer, this is what I'd love, but I'm open. And to your point, if you're really somebody that wants to practice unconditional love, then you're still going to be okay, and you're still going to be loving, even when things don't come out the way that you would prefer. That's right.
And you can even take this a step further and say it's not so much about them. Well, unconditional love is all about yourself, because you have to love yourself unconditionally first. And that was the big step for me. Because then once you really start doing that and practicing that, then it frees you up to do that with other people and other experiences. And I agree. And that was a huge step for me, because it takes a lot, and you really have to embrace it. And you even have to do it when you're driving.
Oh, is there a story there? Were you a road rage person?
No, I've never been a total road rager. So that's kind of an easy one for me to handle. However, I am an avid motorcyclist, or I have motorcycles and I drive them basically every day. And it's when I'm driving down the road and somebody pulls out in front of me, invariably, that's when I have to walk my talk. And and each one of those moments are important, Loree. Each one of those moments that we can walk our talk, even when we're alone, they build us up. And some people think that they can, if they're not around anyone, that they don't have to stop at stop signs, or they don't have to follow their own rules.
Yeah.
And that's about living your truth. That is straight up. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that, to me, that is about integrity.
Yes. And it starts with ourselves. It starts, and a lot of people don't like to look at, I already mentioned the hard look at themselves. They don't like to see things that they don't want to see their shortcomings. However, in my book, Loree, I say embrace them. I say you go out, you find the things that are holding you back, and you deal with them and know what they're about. Because if you know they're there, then you can do things. You can be grateful that you know. That's a start.
I think that is really a great suggestion. When you become aware of those things within yourself that are behaviors or attitudes or values that are keeping you from growing and evolving, and maybe, at least moving in the direction of of unconditional love, when you become aware of those things and then willing to be open to, changing or improving or, just growing and mastering yourself really is what it's all about. I think learning how to master yourself, and that does it. It's very freeing. And it frees you up then to be so much more comfortable no matter what anybody else is doing. And I think that is the whole thing about finding your happiness, is understanding that if you really believe that is a choice and a decision that you can make, and you're willing to do the things to master yourself, then your happiness is no longer contingent upon the actions and behaviors of others.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree with that. And unfortunately, in today's society, we get bombarded by so much mass media. And I think I mentioned to you in a previous discussion that I don't watch the news. And that's one step I take. That's something I can do. That's something I can do to help me walk my talk. Okay, I am not bombarded by mass media all day, telling me how to live my life or telling me how to think. And it's been freeing. That is something else I gave up a couple of years ago. I gave up watching the news, because I go from being a trader where I'm in the news all the time because I'm trading on the news sometimes. And so it was a big cutoff. It was a big disconnect. It almost felt like the feeling, I actually mentioned this on my show today, on my live show, that it's that feeling that you get when you forget your cell phone or iPad. You forget, my producer forgot her phone the other day, and she's like, I forgot my phone. And I was like, I know what that feels like. But it's that kind of feeling right there is when you disconnect from the news and mass media, that it's kind of like that. Where's my phone? I don't have my phone with me. And then after a while, you start reaping the benefits of it, because, hey, I'm calm. I'm not eaten up with politics, and I don't know every little thing that happened bad on the planet today. And guess what that does for you? That actually helps you be happier with that, kind of without you even realizing it.
Right. Well, it seems like your mindset then doesn't have to compete for where it wants to be versus where all of these outside forces and energetic currents are pulling you toward. You know what I mean?
Well said, Loree.
Yeah. So it's like the path of least resistance.
Yes.
It's an obstacle. So if you're really trying to condition your mindset, the way you think, which will ultimately result in the way you move through the world, the way you are going to be, then why not remove the obstacles that are in your way? And that's one thing you can do, is to, pivot away from things like that are tugging at you, but they're really not doing you any favors. They're actually roadblocks.
That's right. And you can, if you want to really simplify it, you can say, okay, well, I can step outside my door and get hit with a bat a whole bunch of times. I'm sorry, my studio cat is coming by. Her name is Chili Cheese, so she's saying hi to everyone.
Oh, cute. Chili Cheese, did you say?
Chili Cheese, yes. She's she actually has a profile on my website.
Oh my God. Okay. There must be a story there. We'll have to visit at some point.
Sure. And she's the studio cat, and invariably when I get on a call or something, and I think she made an appearance this morning during the show. So
of course.
I'm sorry, I kind of got sidetracked. I was talking about you can choose to go outside and get hit with a bat 50 times and then come back in and then wonder, well, why do I feel hurt? And so that's my little rough analogy on what you expose yourself to. And that's something else I learned on my journey was mindfulness. And that's being mindful, and primarily goes back to the news, is what I expose myself to. And then once you kind of get over that bit of mindfulness, then you start taking that step to control your mind and your thoughts. And
exactly. Go ahead.
They are so some people listening to us right now probably already know the power of our thoughts. Other people, it might be brand new to that way of thinking. But I know I've heard you say it, okay, on your various shows, and the importance of being mindful of your thoughts, because they're so important, and people do not realize it, if they're uninitiated to taking that hard look at themselves. If they haven't taken that first step, then it may sound kind of pie in the sky to them, Loree.
Yeah.
When they're fully capable of changing their life and living the life they want if they just change their mindset about how they look at every situation. I mean, I don't even say anything bad about myself verbally. I never say anything negative about myself, because who is going to believe it first? If you put it out of your mouth and say, "Oh, I'm such a this or I'm such a that," you're going to be the first person that believes it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And then you set the precedent for how others treat you and see you.
That's right. That's right. So if you're sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm this negative thing or I'm that negative thing," see, it's even hard for me to verbalize it as an example. So,
yeah, it's because now it's become actually counterintuitive, and it's like, no, I don't want to even plant that seed in any way, shape, or form. Right. Yeah, it's unnatural once you get used to being somebody that is willing to only support yourself and love yourself and grow, then saying things or having negative thoughts about yourself that becomes very uncomfortable. Whereas, in the past, before maybe you got to that point, that was the comfort zone.
And there's nothing wrong with putting ourselves first in a selfful way. This is something I learned while I was in Arizona. Arizona is such a great place. It is something I learned during a talk when I was talking to one of my friends, and they said, there's nothing wrong with being selfful. You do things for yourself in a selfful way, not a selfish way. And I thought, the lights went off and the bells started ringing. I was like, wow, that's profound. It was just, and it can change your whole, it's just one of those events, because our lives are a series of events, both good and bad, that define us. And because if you think about it, some of the worst things that have ever happened to you have been some of the most defining moments or impactful moments in your life. And I'm sorry, I skewed there a little bit, but being selfful is nothing bad. There's nothing wrong with being selfful, because being selfful doesn't hurt anyone. It only helps you, and then it in turn helps everyone that interacts with you.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. So, being somebody that yourself, that is part of being selfful for you, is making sure that you devote a lot of your passion and energy toward your own health and wellness, your physical health. Yes. Yes.
And back in December of 2017, whenever I had when I had that realization, Loree, that, hey, I want to help people. Okay. So I started looking, okay, what can I do right now to have the biggest impact on other people? Because having that realization that what really fulfills me is helping people. I thought, well, what do I do every day, or what's the best route? And I thought, well, I work out every day. I'm in halfway decent shape. And I know quite a bit about working out. I know quite a bit about eating right. And so that's where 1FitVic was born. It was born at that time.
Okay. Which makes sense. To think about, well, what is it that I feel like I do well at, and what excites me? And because those are the things that you feel excite you and that you feel passionate about are the things that generally we want to share and, shout from the rooftops. It's like, for me, it used to be whenever I would find like a really awesome shoe sale. These are the best. You have to go check this out. I want to share it because I am so excited about it. And I feel like, that's what it takes to really be so excited to get up every day and and crush it is, what am I excited about? And I'm so excited about this that I want to share it with people, because if you hit on that formula, it's likely that you are then going to be able to, be of wonderful service, because there's going to be somebody that really needs to receive what you have to share. And you're going to probably be able to make a very fulfilling business out of it for yourself as well, which I think is important.
And that you hit on it right there, Loree. Is I'm going after my passion now, and it is invaluable. Okay, it is invaluable because now I'm getting feedback from my subscribers that, hey, I've lost an inch in my belly this week. I've lost. Look at my neck. They'll send me pictures, and hey, because we do these facial and neck exercises in the show, and here I've lost this much, or my arms are tight. I've lost 2 inches in my arms, and I've lost 3 inches in my belly, and it is so fulfilling. And sometimes it's the other comments I'll get that Vic, they'll be like, Vic, thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for this wonderful show. It's amazing, and these comments are so fulfilling, Loree, because just knowing that I'm helping, I see the results because we log our measurements every Monday. It's Measurement Monday. We log our results via the website, and I get to sit and see. I get to pull all this data off of this, and typically, on average, women this week, let's see, it was about 4 inches off their bodies, 4 inches off their body. Yes, and of course that's cumulative, and that's an average. So it results vary, of course, but it is so fulfilling to help each one of these women. And some of these women have never worked out, or if they have or they go to a social media site. What's a popular one that a lot of women go to get fitness advice, and that's Pinterest. Okay, they might go there and pick a little bit here and a little bit there. And so I thought, well, I'm going to design my program to guide them step by step and every step of the way. So
yeah, which I think is really important, because I feel like there are so many people that they're looking for something, they're looking for that help and guidance. And when you start to search around, whether it's Pinterest or other sites, the problem actually is information overload, and it's confusing for people, and they're not sure exactly where to start, or they dabble a little here and a little there, and they're kind of all over the map. And it's they're trying, but inconsistent effort is going to produce inconsistent results. So
yes,
yeah, I think it's important, and I think it's pretty cool that you have set up a program that you're actually guiding them step by step, taking them by the hand, and everyone is like, okay, this is awesome. He's just telling me exactly what to do. And I think that's what a lot of people want. Not everybody is that person that has the time or the desire to spend hours and hours and hours doing research and figuring out the formula. They just say, I'm willing, just freaking tell me what to do and I'll do it. Somebody lead me down a path that feels really right for me. So I love that that's what you're doing. My question for you is if I understand right, your group is women. So why women? Is it only women? Are there men as well? Or did you just feel a calling to really focus on women?
Well, that's a very good question, Loree. I did some soul searching on this, and I realized that women will typically listen to men better in this situation, and men will typically don't want to watch another man work out. So I think I looked at it that men don't typically like to hear other men teach them how to do things.
Interesting.
Yes, and this is not any. This is a non-scientific fact. It's just that I thought about my female friends who are overinched and the struggles that they had, and it doesn't seem that men respond to this as much as women do, and because it's in society, in our society in the United States, it's almost a double standard, because it's typically okay for men to be overinched a bit, but it's not for women. And women unfortunately get bombarded by magazines and commercials and, oh, you're not good enough here and you're not good enough there. And it was just kind of came to me that I need to focus on women. And so I went with it. And there are men that actually do the workout with us every day. And it's typically a spouse or a boyfriend situation. And it's pretty funny because someone from the East Coast commented this morning about their boyfriend doing the workout with them. And of course, I praise them. I love it.
Yeah.
The more people that could do this and the more people we reach, it's nice because it's kind of infectious, because we're very positive, and we teach our subscribers how to be mindful. And, like to our point a few minutes ago, and we work on the mind just as much as we do the body. Mm-hmm. And we keep them going. And the great thing about it is as our subscribers, as these women progress, say they're losing a couple inches here and there. And of course, some of them are losing 3 or 4 inches every week because they had the inches to lose. Yeah. Okay, we have various levels of fitness. And the great thing is it starts to avalanche. And then once they get to a certain fitness level, then they're going to start sharing their fitness stories with other people. And we're looking at that pay it forward aspect of it. They're going to start sharing it, and then they're going to impact that person's life. So if I can impact 1,000 lives today, and they turn around and impact 1,000 lives, and it kind of is just doing my bit for the planet. And
Sure. I love that. And you know what else I love? I've heard you mention it a few times. Mm-hmm. And I haven't heard anybody else ever use this phrase, but you've used it several times, and I really like it. You refer to it as over-inched as opposed to overweight or weight loss. I really like that.
Oh, well, thank you. I think I invented that, actually. So.
I've never heard it before referred to that way. So maybe you did, but it just has, it just carries a different, connotation to it that I think is more positive in a way. It's just, it just sets it up differently in your mind. Over-inch just sounds a lot different than overweight. And maybe it's just because, the concept of overweight is just so, what's the word? It's discouraging, I think, for so many people. It's starting out in a different kind of negative way that, whereas I feel like over-inched is more of a ground zero rather than like in the hole, deep in the hole. You know what I mean?
Yes. And think about your clothing, Loree. We everything is inches. Everything is jean size or dress size or bra size or everything about women is well, men too, but it is, what size of jeans are you in? And what size of shirts do you wear? And something to build on that is I am anti-scale. I in my program, if you're a subscriber, the first thing I say is get rid of your scales and stay off of them. Yeah. Unless you have a medical reason for that to be there. And some of my subscribers do. However, I say stay off the scale, because the scale is not a good judge of fitness.
I agree.
Fitness.
Yeah, I have that same motto when I'm working with clients is I don't believe in scales either, except like you said, in the rare occasion where, there's a medical reason, or, if somebody at some point down the road really wants to just have a comparison. But as far as having the scale be part of your process, I think it does more harm than good. And I also feel like you do that. Really, to me, it's about that the health of the body is more about other things than what those numbers on that piece of machine, that you stand on say. It's really about how do you feel? Can you focus? Do you have the energy to do the things that you'd like to do in a day? Just it really is about, do you like the way that you feel, and is your body in the condition that allows you to live life the way you want to live it?
That's right. I agree I totally agree. And, there is a difference between 120 pounds of weight, whether it's muscle or fat. Okay. And that's to the reason of staying off that scale, because my subscribers, these ladies are gaining muscle mass. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not big and bulky, because I think women are kind of trained that, you have to do cardio. You have to go kill yourself doing cardio for 2 hours a day. You brought this up a few minutes ago. But, no, I don't want to bulk up. Well, ladies, if it will take a lot of effort and possibly some interesting
drugs,
cocktails for you to get really bulky. So let me alleviate that. Let me get that out of the way right now.
Yeah, it's an old myth.
And the thing is we all need, you start putting on some muscle mass, Loree, you will lose weight while you're at rest. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm not big on sitting there and counting calories burned during the workout either, because if my workout, what is it, typically about 250, 275 calories burned. I think it's something like that from what I've heard. However, it's what you're doing at rest. It's what your body is, here we have some muscle being built. Let me go pull that excess fat and chew on that. Let me go get those extra inches and start feeding on that. And it's the key. It's the key to 100% sustainable fitness.
I think so too. I think that old myth that needs to continually be busted is that myth that, as a woman, if you start throwing weights around, you're going to bulk up like Hulk, and it's just bullshit. It's an old paradigm. You got to get with the program, and and if you can do a little bit of weight resistance in some way, shape, or form, you're right. It's going to really build your momentum and get you where you want to go much quicker. And plus, I like to think about what's the shape you want to be in physically, in your senior years. And so having some of that kind of muscle strength to help provide you stability. I mean, what's the biggest thing with people as they get older? They're unstable, they fall, and they're breaking hips. And right? I mean, that is like the most common thing. And there's a reason that we hear that all the time. We joke about it, breaking a hip, but that's because it's based in truth. It's such a common occurrence. And so much of that is because, there hasn't been any core strength and balance that's been built up and maintained into your senior years. So if you're doing that now, the chances of those things occurring when you're older are so greatly diminished.
You're preaching to the choir. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So okay. So this is a program that is obviously you're having great success with, and I'm sure that it's just building every week for you, which I think is amazing. Where do you see FitVic evolving? Do you see it growing into something beyond where it is now? Do you have plans?
I do have plans, Loree. We are going to start actually we're going to do some research in our own data and find out where large groups of our subscribers are located, hopefully in Paris, but
Hawaii.
But what we're going to do is look where we have large concentrations of our subscribers, and we're going to probably take a tour this summer, maybe in the fall. We'll see how it works out. But we're going to start going to locations and having our subscribers come in and work out with us live. So nice. the live show will be the same, but we'll have hopefully 1,000 subscribers in front of us in this auditorium, or however we'll set it up, working out with us simultaneously.
Oh, I love that.
And that's kind of our immediate plan. Well, that's something we would like to do. So that's something in the books. Also, though, I'm going to start bringing some celebrities on the show, and just and basically, I'd like to have some celebrities on the show to mix it up occasionally, maybe once a month or something like that. And they don't have to be, humongous celebrities, but it would be nice to have an occasional appearance by someone that is a leader in for women. You have the Oprahs and the Ellens and things like that, but it would be nice to get. I'll probably start with some of my Oklahoma people, that since they're fairly close, and that would be easy for them.
Yeah.
But that would probably be that would probably be part of the route we go as well. And I am not opposed to doing a little bit more coaching, one-on-one coaching as well. But that would be kind of a time-sensitive item right there, because the number of people, it just depends on the demand. But if people need some one-on-one coaching, I could probably, around fitness, I could probably entertain the thought of doing that in the future.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you have some really, really great plans. I love your idea about doing a little bit of touring and going to certain locations. And I think it's always really exciting as a fan of, whatever the program is or whoever the speaker is, to have the opportunity to go and, go to a presentation or go to participate in person. That it's always impactful. So I think that's a great plan. What would do you have anything for people that are listening to share with them? If somebody's just, really on the fence and they're like, okay, I'm not quite ready to start a program yet, but is there something that you would suggest to help them just to start getting their mindset shifted and, that will help them get that inspiration or that internal motivation to go ahead then and take another step and do something more physical, whether it's involved in your program or if it's just doing something at home, in the privacy of their home by themselves. Do you have any beginning steps for a person?
I would say this is kind of a depends question. However, I'm going to break it down to the simplest level. If you are doing nothing right now but you want to get started, but you're not quite ready, I would say spend 30 minutes tonight. Okay, or today, today, spend 30 minutes today doing something other than what you usually do. And I mean, if you need to clean for 30 minutes, if you need to clean out your tubs, make yourself a list and be active for 30 minutes. If you can't do 30 minutes, do 15. Okay, do 15 minutes of just moving around, because that's 15 minutes that you did not move around yesterday or the day before. Okay, and just start slow. Don't start slow, but start small, because fitness is about slow and steady gains, slow and steady gains. That's what I teach on my show. And I make sure everyone works within their ability. Okay. But we always shoot for a little bit sore the next day. That's what we want to be, is a little bit sore. So if you have worked out in the last 10 years, okay, then I would ask that you don't wait. Okay. If you're not the person, if you can already do an hour of cleaning up and it doesn't really tax you, then don't wait. Find a program. If you don't come to me, of course, find something that works for you. Do something to help your fitness.
Okay.
And you can find it in the easiest ways. You can make an exercise out of cleaning your floors. Get down and scrub your floors. That's a good exercise. And I was going to actually throw something else in there too, but
go ahead.
It is about just taking that action, because action is paramount. Take some action, and if you have to clean something, rearrange your closets, do something for 15 minutes. If that's not enough, do it for 30 minutes. Okay, just change what you do every night, and throw in that 15 minutes or that 30 minutes, and you will notice a difference after a week. If you do that every night, well, your house will be freaking clean and your closet's organized. But on top of that, you're probably going to have a little bit more pep in your step.
Yeah, no, I think that is really, really great. So start today don't wait, and start small, which means, maybe 15 minutes to 30 minutes. And starting small might be just, cleaning out a closet or scrubbing some bathtubs or the floor. I really like that, slow and steady, because it is, you're wanting to create a new habit of a new lifestyle. So slow and steady is how you create a lifestyle and a routine, and which is basically a habit. It turns into a habit
right.
if you just stay consistent. Yeah.
And I am all about consistency. That's one of my primary edicts on the show is consistent effort, because if you put consistent effort in, you'll get consistent results. And that's to that point of getting started. Wow, I completely lost my train of thought there. And you just touched on it. Well,
creating the lifestyle and consistency, definitely.
Oh, yes.
Right. For results. New habits.
New habits. And part of that is once, it's to my avalanche statement earlier, is once you start getting a taste of it, okay, and once you start seeing that you can do it, and doing these exercises or doing this cleaning around your house and organizing is a good gauge for you. Okay, because you might do that tonight, do that 30 minutes, and you're like, oh wow, I'm huffing and puffing. Okay, well, you at least know where your huffing and puffing point is. And I stress this on my show, is workout within your ability, because I might be lifting 30-pound dumbbells, and Loree, you might be lifting 2.5-pound dumbbells. And I stress it, you do it within your ability, because I work out right along with my subscribers every weekday. And I always stress, do it within your ability. We want to be a little bit sore. So the key is this walking around and cleaning and organizing gives you this helps you look at yourself. And anytime you look at yourself in my book, it's a great thing.
That's perfect. I love it. I always say, look, do it to impress yourself. Just do something that wow, if I just do this, even if it's just this one little thing, I'm actually going to impress myself. And that's who you need to impress.
I like that.
Yeah. Impress yourself. Good. Those are awesome tips for getting started. I love that. So, Victor, I'd like you to share where people can find you and find your program. And then before we wrap, I'm going to ask you one last question. Okay.
Well, you can find me at www.1FitVic, that's FITVIC.com. And you can come and check out the program. We have, it's pretty straightforward. We do 35 minutes every weekday, Monday through Friday. I have a pre-recorded Saturday stretch for you as well. And we are sticklers about it. My producer keeps on me. My producer, Jen, she stays on me about the time. We have a timer on the screen. So we are sticklers, 6:15 a.m. Central Time, and we stop at 6:45. So well, technically it starts at 6:10. That's when the warm-up starts. It's a pre-recorded warm-up before the live portion starts. But we are sticklers about it because we know your time is important. Okay, and we want you to be able to focus to plan your day around us. So we don't go, well, I went about 7 seconds long this morning, so I got a little bit chastised by my producer.
7 seconds.
Well, we try to stay on it because maybe it was 17, but we are very cognizant and aware that women are basically planning their whole mornings around us. So we don't want to go long or anything like that because it's going to hold them up. They don't want to miss something, so they're going to sit and listen longer. And we also have a chat feature during the live show, and this chat feature is private. So any of our women can send a private comment to Jen, and she will ask me during the show live. Okay, and this way you might say, oh, it's Loree from Colorado or Loree from Wyoming. And so who's going to know who's going to know it's you? No one. And there's not any kind of chat room, and you don't have to deal with internet trolls and keyboard warriors. We keep it. We have a nice, safe place for women to work out, ask questions, and improve their fitness.
Nice. I was going to say, at some point, I'd like to get up and give this a try. But then when you said 6:15 a.m. Central, I'm doing the time zone thing. I'm like, okay, that's 5 for me. I don't know. No promises, Vic.
Well, it's on demand as well. So if you can't make the live show, you can get up at 6:15 or 7:15, whatever time you work out. And each day's show is available for 23 hours. Well, at least until the next show airs.
Oh, perfect.
So if you missed today, you can go on the website right now and you can find today's show, and then you can find yesterday's show available.
Oh, sweet. Yes. Good to know.
Yes.
Excellent. So, all right, Victor, here's my last question.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to share with our listeners about the value of going rogue?
Excellent question. I'd love this. I would not trade. Okay, when I went rogue, it was not always easy. It was tough. It was tough, and it was kind of heartbreaking on some levels too. However, I would not trade my going rogue experience for a bucket of gold. It is invaluable to me, and I would not be the person I am today if it wasn't for that, because it wasn't just all roses. But everything I learned about myself and about life and about my passion and my direction, there is no way I would trade that going rogue experience. There is nothing I would trade it for, Loree. So I highly suggest that you do it. Take that risk, get out there, put yourself out there, learn what you need to learn those lessons, because they will change your life for the better.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. That's awesome. Hopefully, everyone will take that to heart. And if they are on the fence about making a radical shift in their lives, that's going to help them make that decision. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that and for everything that you're doing and for the time you spent with us today. This was
my pleasure.
Okay, wonderful. And I can't wait to check it out. And hey, maybe you'll have a core group that is somehow hanging out in a hole in Wyoming. And when you go on tour, you'll end up here and I can show up and participate.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be absolutely wonderful.
That'd be great. All right. I am going to let you get on with your day. I so appreciate your time and sharing everything. Victor, thank you. You have a good day, and we will stay in touch.
Thank you, Loree. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, if you liked what you heard today, then please go ahead and check out the We'reTalkingShift.com website. And I'd love to hear your comments about the show and your thoughts about everything. And you'll also find all the links to social media there as well. If you are trying to make some shift happen in your own life and you want some private coaching with me, you can connect with me there, also on Facebook or through LoreeBischoff.com. So thank you all so much for listening. And until we talk again next week, stay feisty, my friends, and go make some shift happen. You too, Mr. Gary V.